What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of November 5th and the 6th of 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Truly appreciate you all very much. Hope you had a great week and hope you have a great weekend too. Let's look at the astrology for this weekend. Well, it is Sun South Node this weekend, but it's also Venus square Saturn weekend and that moon in Aries, and it's going to be, going through its own thing with squares to Pluto by Sunday, and also all these quincunxes over to the Scorpio with quincunxes to Mercury, the Sun, the South Node, meeting with Chiron. So this weekend's intense. I feel like a lot of it is also like letting go of intense situations in our life, having the sun meet with the South Node in Scorpio. Like, we can get way too emotionally invested in things that don't even matter. They don't even need to be invested in. Like, and then Mercury here is getting closer to the sun, so of course we want to go deeper and investigate all these things or figure out the psychology of other people. And Venus is here, so we might not even want to consider letting go of people in our life right now, or just this intense need to bond and connect. Well, bonding and connecting is very important, but when cycles are done, they're done. This is not a time to force things, but that moon in Aries and quincunx is the weird place. It's like we can want to force aspects in our life. We can want to really identify with intense situations. But I think that this weekend, especially Saturday, is a big look at what are we trying to force so hard for in our life right now? And does it actually have a deeper value with the North Node in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus? Does it actually have the building blocks that we're passionate about, or is it just the obsession over something coming in and fixing our life for us? Like, whatever it is, whether it's government with Pluto ruling the South Node in Capricorn, is it that governments are going to come in and fix things? It's elections are coming up. The elections will change everything. Like, getting overly invested in anything right now is an illusion. And I would say that that's where, with Venus here in detriment in Scorpio, squaring Saturn this weekend, you really have to look at the bigger picture with Saturn in Aquarius. You have to be objective. You have to take your emotions out of the picture. Whatever relationship you're forming, whether it's to another person, to a job, to a person, place, or thing, to the government, to whatever it is, you need to take some higher perspective authority in your life and learn to, when you need to, get out, and when you need to, get in. And these are things that I think spiritually you can figure out within your intuitive senses. Like, you can just feel, but then there's this need to, this deep desire. So our feelings are intense right now. They're strong, they're passionate, they can want a lot of things. You have to really detach from the emotion and get into the higher perspective and really look and observe what's going on in your life and take authority for the observations and the facts and the truth of the matter, which Mars retrograde in Gemini square Neptune and the midpoint of Neptune Jupiter, it's hard to see the truth of the matter right now. It's a confusing time to identify with the direction of life, our personal lives, and the collective. It's not an easy place to be in right now. So there is all of that going on, but there's also the level of really committing to your values and your self-love and the relationship to yourself, and not giving power to all the things outside of yourself that are trying to take that away. I feel like something's trying to show up in our weekend that's going to make us feel like we don't have power, we don't have control, we don't, we have to go through some sense of betrayal or abandonment in some way or another because things didn't go how we really wanted to identify with the moon in Aries and on Chiron. It's like, it reminds me of like not getting our way. Like, oh, you're not going to get your way this weekend. Are you going to just cry about it? Or are you going to find that deep urge to go pivot and make different moves and commit to what is of actual value? I feel like it's all the stuff in our life that we actually don't need to put our attention or our emotion into, because they don't have purpose building forward into the future, into what really matters. Putting your just everything into that basket, it's not going to work out. You got to diversify right now. I think that diversification, if you're thinking, because it's North Node Taurus and it's also Sun in Scorpio and a South Node Scorpio, if we're thinking like investment here, it's like you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You got to diversify so that if one thing doesn't work out, you have another place to go. And the place that you really want to put your energy and time and effort into right now is the place that's real, sustainable, and it has a future, and it's something that you want to put time and effort into. The stuff that feels like a quick fix is all an illusion. Oh, this going out and having sex this weekend will make me feel better and loved. Yeah, maybe for a good, 15 minutes if you're lucky. Like, this is where you got to find that stability within yourself that is not needed through external situations. Just feeling love, feeling grounded, feeling secure, and, that'll fix a lot of things, especially Saturday. It won't make you feel as abandoned or betrayed, but there is something about that being the illusion anyways, with the South Node and the Sun together. And we're waxing up towards this big lunar eclipse, so, we're getting really close to that, which is going to be on Tuesday. We're already starting to feel it. And, it's pretty intense, but it's also going to be an exalted moon, so there's something to say about that. And it's with the North Node. It is really getting out of intensity and into beauty, getting out of hell and getting into heaven in many ways. So Sunday we do get the exact Venus square Saturn, which is the build-up Saturday, but it's put your focus into the realness, put your focus and your emotional effort into letting things go and getting into the stuff that's of, sustainable value long-term for your future, very individuated, but also dealing with the right groups, the right people. It's almost like, especially right now, as we already had Venus South Node, Sun South Node, all this Scorpio, you can see who's emotionally meant to be in your life, what energy you want to merge with, commit to. You're going to see who's long-term in your life and what wasn't long-term in your life. And this is where you just have to accept what wasn't long-term and move into what is. And as long as you have self-worth, self-love, self-value, it's not so hard to let go of things. You'll find that disconnecting is actually easier than you think, because you're not giving up your value to please someone else or to make someone else happy or some other thing. You're making yourself happy, and you're moving slowly and feeling comfortable and secure with yourself. It'll change this long term, big time as we're building up. So the big thing this weekend is to remember, through intense situations or dealing with other people, just ground yourself in what makes you feel good. Know that you can nurture, support, and sustain yourself, and you always have been able to. But this is like a big lesson, because we can all feel like we need other people or big emotional bonds or sex or, something to come into our life and make us feel good. They're like dopamine hits, especially with Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces. Like, it's like a quick escape, a quick fix. And then that high wears off. And if we don't have the self-love for ourselves and have a strong rooted sense of who we are and feeling secure there, well, then it's just that quick hit and it's not going to do anything. And you're going to feel like, ouch. And things can feel like ouch, but you'll always be able to pick yourself up from that. This is like a big weekend to realize how you've picked yourself up in the past, how to stay committed to your long-term goals, the visions, the dreams, but actually the physical thing is what's going to bring it, and not just this emotional illusion or, crazy, intense energy. It's also, Mercury is getting 1 degree away from the sun now. It's closer and closer, but it's Mercury South Node now. So trying to figure out what everybody else is thinking here in Scorpio and the deeper psychology and, what's going on in your partner, what's going on with your friends. Like, what do you're not going to find what you're looking for. You need to be focusing on your deeper truth, your deeper psychology. Anytime that you're putting too much effort into someone else and it's taking you into a weird spiral, get out of that and get back into what you're going through, what you're feeling, what your personal life is like. It'll make things so much better. Like, trust me. Also, Venus opposing Uranus, and of course that big T-square to Saturn. I didn't mention that for Saturday, but it is exact Saturday. It's a big deal when it comes to people. I feel like people want to shock us. People want to let us down. People want to, make you feel less than. It's like these are all revelations trying to take us higher, move us higher. Everything is trying to take us to a better place of really emotionally committing and feeling comfortable and secure in the deepest parts of ourself. And maybe that means shadow work to get to the physical life and the beautiful things, but it's worth it. And the more you focus on yourself this weekend and not try and understand every little nook and cranny within someone else, you're going to take yourself out of traps and be committing more to what your future looks like. And then the moon's going to square Pluto, which is always intense. But it is, showing us where we can really commit emotionally, but also showing where we have to let go. It's definitely more of that energy right now of just like, you can't force other people to go in the same direction you're going. They can't force you either. And that's why, you can see things being destroyed in relationships right now, or big blocks and stop signs up. They're there for a reason. They're trying to transmute energy so that you can be more in your self-value, your self-worth, and go in a direction forward here and achieve what, you're probably more aligned to achieve than maybe you realize already. But you got to go into these places within yourself, figure these out, and come to a defining decision in your life about what you're committing to and what you're letting go. That's going to be crucial this weekend as well. And then the moon will finish off Sunday night and come into Taurus, which, could feel like a little relief. It could feel like you actually, through something this weekend, did find that rooted sense within yourself and really understanding that you can take care of yourself no matter what goes on outside or with people or in the world. This is like a big test of feeling secure within yourself and not letting the outside influence that or take you too far out. Like, it's okay to feel things. I'm not saying don't feel, but we are in a place with so much Uranus and Saturn in Aquarius that, we actually have to disconnect and get out of our emotions for a second to make big decisions about what we actually value and what's going forward in our life and what isn't. And staying emotionally attached to situations that are dead aren't going to make us feel any better. Let's see what the tarot has to say for this weekend. Temperance reversed. Yeah, I feel like we're not going to want to be too patient this weekend. That moon in Aries, like there's a lot of impulsiveness that people are going to be feeling, probably to get out of entanglements or to get into situations that are of a lot of value. I don't think it's one of those weekends where it's just going to be sit around and chill. Like, there's like bigger soul work that has to get done, which is going to bring a lot of divine balance and flow into our lives. I need a sip of water. All right, what do we got next? Palace of Swords. I don't even know what the palace is. I think it's just some extra thing they throw in for the suits. But nonetheless, I think it is that emotional, or not emotional, but the intellectual place to disconnect and to look at things from a higher perspective that will give you more security and foundation and strength and just being just on it, because you have to take the higher perspective of what's going on right now without sort of getting lost in the emotional depth of every little thing or the psychology and a lot of this Scorpio stuff that can feel great until, it takes it all away, and then it's devastating. Having that intellectual clarity within what's grounding you will bring that flow into our life, and we might want to be more impulsive about what that is. And Six of Coins reverse. Yeah, it's so funny we got this card. It's not time to just, be a charity case for somebody or to give and not receive. I feel like we're trying to give more than we can receive, because this weekend's interesting. You really do want to focus on what you need to feel secure and not somebody else's wants and needs. Yeah, it's interesting getting the Six of Coins in reverse. Like, yeah, it's kind of the philanthropist the other way around, where it's like, oh yeah, we have enough. I can give here and give there. Like, this is a big check this weekend. How much do you actually have to give? And how much are you giving yourself? And I think the more you focus on what you really need in life right now without trying to figure out everybody else's, deeper desires, you're going to do just fine. And you won't be as confused as some may be, but it is kind of confusing times out there. So if you are confused, definitely focus on your needs and not anybody else's. That'll help a lot. All right. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Much love. Peace.